Have you ever stopped to think about how much of your day is driven by habits? That's right. From the moment we wake up to the moment we close our eyes at night, habits are the invisible architects of our lives. They dictate our actions, shape our thoughts, and even influence our emotions. Habits, in essence, are the brain's way of streamlining tasks. Instead of consciously thinking about every single thing we do, habits allow us to perform tasks automatically. This could be as simple as brushing our teeth in the morning or as complex as driving a car. But what's fascinating about habits is that they're not inherently good or bad. They're simply patterns of behavior that we've repeated so often they've become automatic. And that, my friends, is where the power of habits lies. Imagine, for instance, that you've made it a habit to drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Over time, this small act compounds into significant health benefits. Now that's a positive habit. On the flip side, consider a habit of reaching for a sugary snack whenever you're stressed. That might provide temporary relief, but over the long term, it can lead to weight gain and other health issues. That's an example of a negative habit. The key point here is that habits, whether positive or negative, have a profound impact on our lives. They can propel us towards our goals or steer us away from them. They can contribute to our happiness or take away from it. They can make us healthier or lead us down the path of poor health. But here's the good news. We're not helpless against our habits. We can change them. We can replace negative habits with positive ones. We can harness the power of habits to build a life that aligns with our values and aspirations. It's all about understanding how habits work and learning how to manipulate them to our advantage. So, are you ready to take control and start reshaping your habits? Let's dive into the process. The first step in changing your habits is identifying which ones are holding you back. Now, this isn't as simple as it sounds, because our habits, especially the negative ones, are often so deeply ingrained that they become second nature. They slip under our radar, going unnoticed, while they stealthily sabotage our progress. So how do we bring these elusive culprits into the light? Well, it's time for a little introspection. Reflect on your daily routine, your actions, and your reactions. Are there things you do without thinking, like reaching for a candy bar when you're stressed, or mindlessly scrolling through social media when you could be working on that project? These are your habits, and it's essential to recognize them as such. Now, not all habits are bad. Some may even serve a positive purpose at times. But if there's a habit that's causing more harm than good, or keeping you from your potential, that's a negative habit. And remember, everyone's habits will be different. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to this. Your negative habits might be someone else's positive ones, and vice versa. Once you've identified your negative habits, write them down. There's power in seeing them in black and white. It makes them tangible, real, and most importantly, changeable. But don't stop at just identifying the habit. Go a step further. Ask yourself why you're doing it. What's the trigger? Is it a certain time of day, a feeling, a situation? Understanding the why behind your habits is crucial in changing them. It's also important not to judge yourself during this process. Identifying negative habits isn't about self-criticism. It's about self-awareness. It's about recognizing the things that are holding you back so you can work on changing them. Remember, it's not about perfection, but progress. Small, incremental changes can lead to big transformations over time. So be patient with yourself. Changing habits isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. With your negative habits identified, you're ready to move on to the next step. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. We're all works in progress, continually striving to become better versions of ourselves. So let's keep moving forward, one habit at a time. Did you know that every habit follows a three-part pattern called the habit loop? Yes, this loop is the cornerstone of our habitual behaviors, and it consists of three key elements: cue, routine, and reward. Let's break it down. That initiates the habit. It could be anything from a particular place, a time of day, an emotion, a sequence of thoughts, or even the people around us. The cue sends a signal to our brain to start the behavior. Next comes the routine. This is the actual behavior or habit we perform, whether it's brushing our teeth, going for a run, or perhaps reaching for that bag of chips when we're stressed. The routine is what we instinctively do, triggered. Finally, we have the reward. This is the positive reinforcement that tells our brain, hey, this feels good, let's do it again. The reward can be a tangible benefit, like a sugar rush from eating a chocolate bar, or an intangible one such as the sense of achievement from finishing a workout. Understanding this habit loop is fundamental to changing our habits. You see, our brains are wired to seek out and repeat actions that give us rewards. Once we understand this, we can start analyzing our own habit loops, identifying the cues and rewards that drive our behaviors. For example, if you're trying to kick a junk food habit, you might identify your cue as feeling stressed, your routine as eating chips, and your reward as the temporary relief from stress. By identifying these elements, you can start to see why your brain keeps falling into this habit loop. But what's even more exciting is that once you understand your habit loop, you can start to manipulate it. You can change the routine while keeping the cue and reward the same. Or you can swap out the reward for something healthier, but equally satisfying. Once you understand your habit loop, you're equipped to start making changes. And remember, every big change starts with a single step. So let's take that step together, shall we? Now that you understand your habits, it's time to start replacing the negative ones with positive ones. Let's dive right in, shall we? Your first strategy is to find a positive habit to take the place of the negative one. This is the principle of substitution. If you're trying to quit smoking, for instance, you might take a hobby like painting or running, something that keeps your hands and mind busy. If you're prone to mindless snacking, you could replace that bag of chips with a bowl of grapes or carrot sticks. But remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. The same applies to your habits. Changing habits is a process, and it takes time. It's crucial to be patient with yourself. You've spent years, maybe even decades, building these habits. They won't appear overnight. This brings us to our next point, consistency. For a new habit to stick, it needs to be performed consistently. If you're trying to replace an old habit with a new one, you can't just do it once or twice and expect it to stick. You need to do it over and over again until it becomes second nature. But here's a little secret. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. If you slip up, don't berate yourself. Instead, acknowledge the misstep and get back on track as quickly as possible. Don't let a minor setback derail your entire journey. And finally, celebrate your victories, no matter how small they may seem. Each time you successfully replace a negative habit with a positive one, give yourself a pat on the back. This will boost your motivation and make the habit change process a little more enjoyable. In conclusion, replacing negative habits is a journey that requires patience, consistency, and a little bit of self-love. It's about replacing harmful behaviors with ones that enhance your life and bring you closer to your goals. Remember, change is a process, not an event. Be patient with yourself, because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and each step you take is a step closer to a healthier, happier you. Great job on making those changes. Now, how do you keep them up? First, let's talk about reminders. They're not just sticky notes on your bathroom mirror, they can be anything that triggers your new habit. If you're trying to drink more water, a water bottle on your desk can be your reminder. The key is to make it visible to keep your new habit at the forefront of your mind. Next, let's dive into rewards. Rewards are a powerful tool because they provide immediate satisfaction. After completing your new habit, treat yourself with a small reward. If you're trying to exercise more, your reward could be a delicious smoothie, or even just a few minutes of relaxation. This makes the process enjoyable and motivates you to repeat the habit. But remember, the most effective rewards are ones that are meaningful to you. They don't have to be grand or expensive. They just need to make you feel good about your progress. Now, on to support. Having a support system can significantly increase your chances of maintaining your new habits. Share your goals with friends, family, or join a community of like-minded individuals. They can provide encouragement, hold you accountable, and even join you in your journey. Another strategy is to practice consistency. Consistency is key in maintaining new habits. It might be challenging at first, but stick with it. Over time, your new habit will become a normal part of your routine. Lastly, don't be too hard on yourself. Everyone slips up sometimes. If you miss a day or two, don't throw in the towel. Instead, use it as a learning opportunity. Reflect on what led to the slip, adjust your plan if necessary, and get back on track. After all, progress is not about perfection, it's about persistence. With these strategies, you can turn your new behaviors into lasting habits. Before we wrap up, let's quickly revisit the key points we've covered. We've learned to identify those pesky negative habits, understand the habit loop's sneaky ways, swap out those negative habits for positive ones, and maintain our shiny new habits for a healthier, happier life. It's like a self-improvement party, and you're the guest of honor. Remember, changing habits is a journey. Celebrate your progress and keep striving for improvement. You've got this.